They said when two elephants fight, the grass pays the hospital bills, and Rivers has paid enough. Abuja is stepping in again with a decision that could reshape who controls the state ahead of 2027. Here's the story Nigerians are dissecting. On February 3rd, 2026, reports say President Tinubu stepped into the Rivers crisis again, told the impeachment push against Governor Fubara to stop, and pushed a controversial label, Wike as Rivers' political leader. Stay with me for the facts, the timeline, and what this move could do to 2027. This isn't gossip. It's a power map being redrawn, and it affects budgets, institutions, and the everyday calm people in Rivers have been begging for. Why this matters is simple. Rivers is a strategic state for politics, business, and national revenue. It is a commercial nerve center, an oil and gas anchor, and a place where political instability quickly becomes economic anxiety. When governance stalls, projects slow down, investors price in risk, and ordinary people feel it, from contractors waiting for payments to market women who just want calm streets and predictable policy. So what exactly is being claimed? The February 3rd update says Tinubu called key actors, weighed the crisis, and issued two clear political instructions: halt the impeachment pressure and recognize Wike as the political leader in Rivers. It's that second line that exploded online because it sounds like a crown being placed on one man's head, and Nigerians know what political leader can mean in practice: who controls party structures, who controls tickets, and who controls loyalty. There's also an interesting political subtext in the reporting. Tinubu allegedly reminded Wike of his reputation as a political master strategist, even making a comparison to Lagos, basically saying, if you could build and manage power there, you can stabilize Rivers too. That kind of language matters because it frames the crisis not as a governance issue to be solved by institutions, but as a political puzzle to be solved by masters and structures. And once the solution is framed that way, the public naturally asks, where does democracy enter the room? Another detail in the reports is the ruling party angle, All Progressive Congress. Tinubu was said to have told Wike that there were competing claims to the party structure in Rivers and that only one would ultimately be recognized. In plain language, even inside the ruling party, there is a struggle over who controls the real machinery. And when party machinery is contested, governance becomes collateral damage because every policy decision gets interpreted as an advantage to one faction. To understand the anger, you have to understand the roots. The feud is widely traced to the months after Fubara took office in 2023, as the relationship between a sitting governor and his predecessor turned into a battle over control, especially over the state's political machinery and the Rivers State House Assembly. From there, the crisis became institutional: rival camps, legislative tension, court fights, and repeated attempts at peace that never fully held. There was a major peace move in December 2023 when the president hosted talks and an agreement was announced to calm the situation, but the calm didn't last. The battle kept returning because the main issue wasn't a single misunderstanding, it was power. Who decides appointments, who directs party strategy, who controls the assembly, and who commands the grassroots. Then came the moment that showed how serious this fight had become. On March 18, 2025, Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers and suspended the governor, deputy governor, and lawmakers for an initial period reported as 6 months, citing severe political tensions and security concerns. That action split Nigeria into two loud camps: those who applauded a strong hand to stop a breakdown and those who saw it as a dangerous precedent. Either way, it proved Rivers had become a national stability issue, not just a local quarrel between big men. By mid-September 2025, reports say the emergency period had lapsed and elected officials were restored, but the political war did not disappear. It simply moved into a new phase, a phase dominated by calculations for 2027 and by the question of who truly controls Rivers' political direction. Now, add a fresh ingredient: elections inside the state's power structure. Reports say Independent National Electoral Commission fixed February 21st, 2026 for by-elections in Ahoada East II and Khana II constituencies, with one of the vacancies linked to a resignation to take up a senior appointment in the governor's camp and the other linked to the death of a lawmaker. That matters because a house is a numbers game. A few seats can determine who holds leadership, how budgets move, how oversight works, and whether impeachment talk is just intimidation or a real path. This is where the political leader label becomes more than a headline. If Wike is publicly recognized as political leader, it signals to politicians, party men, and ambitious aspirants that he remains the center of gravity. And once a center of gravity is publicly named, people adjust their loyalties, not because they love anyone, but because survival in Nigerian politics often follows power, not principles. That's why analysts say Fubara's re-election could be in doubt, not because the law has removed him, but because structures can choke an incumbent long before voters ever see a ballot. Supporters of Wike are blunt about it. They say politics is about structure, and structures are built with time, money, and alliances. In their eyes, recognizing Wike is not godfatherism, it is realism. They argue that you can't ignore a powerful bloc and expect peace, you manage it. They also say Tinubu did what a president should do: stop a state from sinking into paralysis and protect governance from endless sabotage. Supporters of Fubara are equally blunt. They hear political leader and see remote control. They say a governor is elected to lead, not to serve as a caretaker for a predecessor's ambitions. They worry that recognizing one man over a whole state turns democracy into a private franchise. And they warn that it teaches young Nigerians the worst lesson, that votes are decoration while elite agreements are the real election. Let's call spade a spade. If the purpose of this arrangement is to humiliate a sitting governor and transfer real power to a political boss, then it is bad for Rivers and bad for Nigeria's democracy. But if the purpose is to stop institutional collapse and prevent another round of paralysis, then Nigerians will still demand fairness, because peace that looks like one side's victory can plant the seed of the next crisis. Quick pause. If you like fearless, fact-led Nigerian political breakdowns without sugarcoating, subscribe to Trends Hub and turn on notifications. And in the comments, tell me, should any president ever label a political leader in a state, or should parties settle their own battles without a crown from Abuja? What happens next is the real test. Watch the by-elections and what they do to the assembly arithmetic. Watch party structures and how tickets and delegates are being lined up ahead of 2027. Watch governance itself, whether policies, projects, and appointments begin to move smoothly, or whether this settlement simply forces silence while resentment grows underneath. For the people in Port Harcourt and across rivers, the demand is not complicated: stable governance, predictable policy, and leaders who remember that a state is not personal property. Any actor, past or present, who treats rivers like a trophy to be owned deserves public criticism, and any actor who genuinely lowers tension and protects institutions deserves credit. But Nigerians should not confuse a peace with a cure. They also say when elders settle a fight, they must not gift one fighter the other man's teeth. Rivers doesn't need a winner-takes-all settlement. It needs a rules-based peace that respects the mandate of voters. If you want more clear, urgent stories like this, subscribe to Trends Hub, share the video, and drop your honest take. Is this a peace deal or the start of a new kind of political control?